Hey guys, this is Michael with Quiet Lawn. Hope you all had a wonderful Christmas with your loved ones, and wish you all a Happy New Year. I wanted to make a video showing you our numbers for last year, actually the last couple of years, and I'm going by revenue. I don't want you to get the impression that revenue is very important, because revenue does not translate to profit. And in fact, I'll make another video about our specific numbers and profit and loss. And you'll see that we actually lost a little bit of money last year for a couple of reasons, which I'll go into more detail on. But more, I wanted you to see the trend in our business. I wanted you to see kind of how our business changed from last year to this year. So if you remember last year, our videos in 2020, or 2 years ago now, if you remember our videos in 2020, we were talking about the issues we were having with hiring, with employees, about how we were going to change our business model to be more efficient, to be less reliant on labor and help. And that was really our focus last year. So we did a big pivot in our business, and we kind of, as you see in our videos, we changed our whole setup. We changed the type of services that we wanted to offer, or really focused on the ones that we wanted to. So this, you'll see that in our revenue numbers comparing 2021 to 2020, you'll kind of see that we were able to move in the right direction that we were looking for. So in 2020, we did, it was a tough year, couldn't find help. We did $203,000 in revenue. I don't want to overcomplicate it with specific numbers, but 30% of that was mowing, 20% of that approximately was our fertilization and weed control program, 40% of that was sod and mulch and one type project type work, either mulch installation, sod installation, bed maintenance, shrub trimming. Stuff like that, services that aren't necessarily predictably recurring. And we did about 8 or 9% in Christmas lights, our Christmas light installation. You can see here that about 50% of our work, about half of our work, was project type work, whether it be big mulch installations, sod installations, whatever. Christmas light, one-time Christmas light installs. And that amounted to about approximately a little over $100,000 of our revenue. While I like installation work, the last few years we've tried to transition our work over to more recurring, predictable services. We did more than this the previous year in 2019 by a good bit. But the problem I found with install work, whether you're doing paver patios or whatever kind of install work you're doing, whether you're doing big mulch projects, rock, sod work, the problem is it's not predictable, and it takes a lot of labor if you really want to scale it up. So you end up having this beast that you have to constantly feed. So for example, we would have mulch crews or sod crews, and we'd have 4 or 5 guys on it, and they could knock out a $10,000 to $20,000 mulch job in a couple of days. And while that's great, and we're making good money on that, then what would happen is you'd have a week or two of a dry spell, and you still have to keep your guys working, and you end up giving a lot of that profit back just to keep your guys going. And it's just a logistical thing. I mean, it's just such a big commitment of your time to get everything in place to make those projects happen and to keep those employees busy. So my goal with my business from the beginning is to build a business that will run itself, and that I can step back from and focus on growing my business and focus on other entrepreneurial endeavors and my personal priorities. That type of business doesn't really appeal to me. Maybe when I was younger, but now, like I said, I'm more getting into this business to build something that's going to generate recurring, consistent revenue. And that's kind of like I said, last year I wanted to get away from the labor-heavy, labor-focused services, even though they're really profitable. and you can scale up a huge business. You know, we could easily have a $500,000 or $750,000 or more business with 80% of the work being install work. You know, doing mulch and patios and sod and whatnot. You know, like I said, that beast is, it takes a lot to keep that thing going. And, you know, it just not the direction I wanted to head. So we had made a big focus to transition our revenue over to recurring services over the last couple of years. And while they don't pay as much, some of the benefits are that they don't get affected by economic swings nearly as much as like install work and stuff like that. So if this economy tanks, you know, and you know, you're going to see a lot of this construction. It's going to stop, you know, almost immediately. You're going to see a lot of these big projects. You know, they're going to be the first things that go. But you know, mowing, you know, retirees' lawn or taking care of their lawn, that stuff is still going to be more of a necessity, and people are still going to be more apt to buy those services than the one-time install work. So big focus this year was to do that. So last year we did $203,000 in revenue, or the 2020, the year before last year. And I think during the summer we might have had 4, maybe 5 guys at one time out in the field, which was a lot, and it was a nightmare trying to hire and keep that going. This year we did $277,000 in revenue, which was a 37% increase year over year. Not huge. There's guys that are doubling or tripling. You can really scale up a lot, especially when you're doing project work and you're doing $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 projects. You know that you can really go up with that. But with revenue and, you know, kind of the changes we made and the direction we were going, you know, wanting to kind of feel out the new setups that we had and, you know, kind of get our bearings and figure out, because we made so many changes from the previous years, we didn't really put the gas to it to really push that revenue growth. But 37% was great. I'm happy with that, and that's a big growth over the previous year. Mowing was a little over $100,000. That was 37% of our revenue. Fertilization and weed control, which was my biggest goal, my biggest service that I wanted to grow, was 31% of our revenue. I think in 2022, that's going to be probably our number one source of revenue, because we're really pushing that, because it's an easy service. It's year-round in our area, and it's much higher profit margin than mowing. Mulch and sod, we did 19%. You can see that we did a lot less than we did the previous years. And Christmas lights, we did $35,000, or about 13% of our revenue. Comparing the 2 years, so if you add up the percentages of the recurring revenue that we did in 2020, we did about half of our revenue was recurring services, and half of it was like one-time type project work that's not as predictable. This year, 80%, a little over 80% of our services were recurring services. Even the Christmas lights, because we went to multi-year contracts with that service. So we had a 30% increase in the amount of the percentage of our business that was recurring services. So good thing about that is they're a lot more predictable. You know how many visits you're going to have each year with each service. You can plan out. You can have employees accordingly. You know, you're not going to be doing like with project work. You're not going to have $200,000 worth of work this part of the year, and then zero the next part of the year. It's a little bit easier to plan. It's a little bit more predictable. Not that there's not benefits to both businesses. You can make a lot. I'm not talking down to install work, because those guys make a ton of money and you can really build a big business. But for me personally, I'm looking to build, like I said, a long-term business that's going to feed me cash flow. That's going to be predictable. It's going to be an easy business to own, to run, to work in, and that's my goal. Part of the reason, mulch and sod, we could have done a lot more this year. We still had the ability, but part of the reason we weren't able to was during the spring, we had difficulty hiring. We did make some good hires, and I have a really good team going into this year. We'll need to make a couple more, but just like most businesses, that was still a big challenge. And part of the reason that I wanted to focus my business to more recurring services, because it's not as labor dependent. I also talked about the fact that I wanted to be a lot more efficient. I talked about adding robotic mowers, doing services that were higher margin, higher revenue generating, but took less manpower. And we were able to accomplish that as well. So this year, the 2020, the previous year, for the 200 and some thousand, we might have had 4 or 5 guys out in the field during the summer at times. Not all year, but at times. To do this $277,000 last year, we had basically 2 to 2.5 full-time equivalents, full-time employees working. So we were able to do 37% more, basically half the staff that we were before, just because we were much more efficient at what we were doing, and we were doing services that were much higher revenue generating for the man hours that were put into it. So overall, I was really happy. Like I said, we didn't really want to put the gas to growth last year, because we wanted to kind of settle in and see how our new mowing setup was working, adjust our services and pivot and make sure that we're offering the right thing. But my goal for 2022, and I'll make a video specifically talking about the changes and our goals for 2022, but our goal is to put some gas to the fire and really grow this year. We're planning on, not super aggressive growth, but we're conservatively planning on hitting 450,000, maybe 500,000 if things go terribly right. My big goal again this year is profit, and I want to, we're probably going to show a small loss this year for profit because of the reasons I'll mention in another video. This year, 2022, my big goal is profit, and we're definitely going to show a good profit for 2022. But I hope these numbers are helpful for you. I hope you get something from them. We're by no means a big company. I think we're still a very small company. We're doing some good things. The biggest thing that we learned this year by far was to start learning our numbers, which we're constantly learning more and more. Another video I'll make will talk about our marketing, what we spent, what our cost per lead and per customer was for that, and based on that, I'll show you how we were able to make our marketing budget for 2022 and predictably arrive at that $450,000 revenue goal. Because like most of us, before we knew our numbers, you're just kind of guessing. You don't know. You can say, "Oh, I want to do $500,000 this year," and maybe you do, and maybe you don't. But you don't really know what it takes to get there. When you know your numbers, it's just a matter of a math equation. Each customer costs me this amount, so if I spend this amount in marketing, then I'm going to get this amount of customers. So that's the really cool thing about it. I want to shout out to Mike Andes, who's awesome. A lot of his videos and his landscape business course taught me a lot of these numbers as far as marketing and projecting all this stuff. And I also want to shout out to Wayne Voles with Profits Unlimited. I mentioned him before, but he is a consultant and he has a big landscaping business. And he helped us with the figuring out our cost per hour for each service, so that we're able to price our stuff profitably. So you can buy the best investment, and I've turned several people onto it, and I don't have any kind of endorsements or sponsorships from him, but I just think it's a great thing. But you can go to the Profits Unlimited website and get the Know Why You Charge What You Charge spreadsheet, and that will help you within a very short period of time determine exactly what your man-hour rate needs to be to cover your cost and hit your profit margin for each service. Because if you're just guessing and you're just basing it on other people's pricing, you're just shooting in the dark, and you don't know if you're hitting anything or not. So with this, one of the guys I recommended it to kind of related it. He said it's like having a cheat code, and I agree with that. It's like you have a cheat code and you have some kind of inside knowledge that the vast majority of other people in the business don't have once you figure out that number, because then it's not guessing anymore. You actually know what you're doing. But thanks for watching. I'll make some other videos on the other stuff I just talked about, and I hope you all have a very prosperous 2022. I appreciate you watching, and I'm looking forward to sharing a lot of other great content this year. We're going to be doing a lot more videos, hands-on. Actually, with the GoPro, you'll be able to see us work. You'll be able to see different things we're doing, different equipment reviews. I know this stuff is boring and it doesn't get the views, but this is the most important stuff. But, I know people want to see, people enjoy seeing other people work and how they do it, and the equipment they use and the techniques they use. So we'll be focusing more on that as well. But thanks for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, please do, and like and comment below. Thank you.